Recently, I posted my summer science fiction reads recommendations, books that are fun, exciting, and not too heavy for the summer. These books will also fall into that category mostly, and this time around, I focused the list toward under the radar classic science fiction. I started with The Stars Are Ours, published in 1954, and Starborn, published in 1957, books 1 and 2 of the Pax Astra series by Andre Norton. Alice Norton changed her name legally to Andre Norton, a pen name that she initially adopted, estimating that she'd find more SF literary success using a non-female name. I begin with recommending this 2-book series to those who like broad sweep, not too deep dive sociological, humanity examined science fiction. I can also recommend this for science fiction themes that include developing space tech and first contact space opera. In The Stars Are Ours, we have illogical scientists, technologists versus ideologue, purist nativist, tug of war for the soul and the future of humanity. What's to be done with Earth's burgeoning population? City centers are swelling and bursting at the seams. Luckily, we can get off planet and out into the solar system. Unfortunately, none of our neighboring planets are suitable solutions. Also, unfortunately, relieving the Earth of a lot of population are forces using a powerful space weapon to annihilate a huge chunk of the populace. This will lead to a purge of the free scientists at the hands of the nativists, who are all too eager to live a more natural and less tech-driven existence. This is all really prologue to the scientists hiding out and plotting their escape. This will involve working on space travel technology that includes suspended animation. The escape may include reaching a world with an intelligent and not quite welcoming alien race. This is not knock your socks off literature, but it is light and fun with great imagination and action. I enjoy the superficial themes of science versus religion and a good enough dose of politics. Norton is consistent in delivering great storytelling and characters whose adventures will hold your interest. Doorways in the Sand by Roger Zelazny, published in 1976. If you like kangaroos, donkeys, and wombats, have I got the book for you? Sort of joking around, but that's kind of the point. This is a funny, fresh, fast read. 1976 and fresh? No, this doesn't feel modern fresh, but fresh like, wow, what a fresh reading experience. And it really is a broad audience book. You don't have to be gung-ho for science fiction to devour this. This is a quirky novel with an interesting, not linear structure. The beginning of each chapter, for the most part, is a bit vague, followed by a flashback, and then a link to the previous chapter. Fred, a career student, has been in college for 13 years. He's basically living off his rich uncle's inheritance. Don't worry, his uncle isn't dead per se, he's just frozen. Fred actually learns more in the process of trying to stay a constant student than he actually does in class. He's also a bit of a prankster, though he's not really a successful one, as this pension gets him into some kind of trouble. Turns out everybody thinks he stole the prestigious Starstone. The Starstone is an alien relic, they think that he has it, and everybody you can think of is after him. This is a silly detective story with intergalactic implications, though most of the story is set on Earth. It's just a really fun read. City of the Chash by Jack Vance, published in 1968. This works well for an easy breezy read when you go in with the right expectations. It's a fun adventure story with terrific world building and serviceable, though not particularly multi-dimensional characters. Vance's ability to create complex worlds in just a few pages is really astonishing. The story is questish, where the protagonist never really feels at peril, which, while it could be an issue if you're looking for a more serious read, it works well if you're cool with having the comfort level, lack of stress, feeling confident our guy's going to come through. Also with Vance, expect that this will be science fiction and fantasy, and really more fantasy than science fiction. City of the Chash is the first book in Vance's Planet of Adventure series, and you can definitely read it by itself and enjoy it for what it is, or if you're still in the mood for more light reading, just keep going with the series. Protagonist Adam Reith has crashed on a hostile planet populated by dangerous alien races. Page after page, he will confront numerous obstacles. Alien interactions are fun and interesting. There's save the hostage drama, and the prose is distinct and solid. This is a go-with-the-flow read, and it's pure classic science fiction fantasy pulp. The Ballad of Beta 2 by Samuel R. Delany, published in 1965. Far be it for me to have a classic SF list and not include Delany. For longer and severely deeper work, also find elsewhere on my channel, reviews for Babel 17, Nova, Empire Star, and most recently, just a few weeks ago, a review of his unmatched masterpiece, Dahlgren. Beta 2 is only a breeze if we're talking relative to Delany's other work. That's not to suggest that it isn't a deep work. Basically, it's just shorter, and I think easier for most readers to quickly engage in. The vibe is somewhere between Empire Star and Babel 17 for those of you who are Delany enthusiasts. Fans of those books will enjoy that the title Ballad of Beta 2 refers to a song, poetry whose source is being investigated. How about this for a beginning line? She walked through the gates and the children cried. There's also, even if very mild, Stephen Baxter Raft Zeely sequence vibes. Starships had set off into deep space, many were destroyed, 2 ships survived, and a society was established. Those of the society, the star people or star children, are the looked down upons. And while this isn't Delany's deepest dive into sociological examination, there is present a glance into humanity's difficulties with accepting the other. Most compelling in this page turner is the evolution of a society on a spaceship, fantastical elements that include supernatural abilities, and a staple for Delany, mesmerizing characters. While not the most important part of the novella, I also love that shortly after these generational ships take off, we get an advanced hyperdrive, meaning the propulsion on previous ships is basically obsolete. It's one of my favorite things to think about related to generation ships, the idea of leaving Earth and centuries or millennia into a voyage you could be passed in space by a ship leaving tomorrow. The novel is compelling and it's difficult to put down. Radio Free Albemuth by Philip K. Dick, published in 1985. I sort of cheated to include this because it's not really a laid-back read, but if I tweak the rules, I can stand behind it as a PKD novel that's really a breeze to read, especially relative to some other Dick works like Ubik and the 3 Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, because it reads more straightforward. Dick drafted this and then scrapped it and used part of the plot to write Valis, and then this reworked version of Radio Free Albemuth was published after his death. I don't know all the ins and outs of the process or the publishing decisions that were made, and I've read both Valis and Albemuth long enough ago that I'm not going to parse the similarities and differences at this juncture. I can tell you this is a really weird read. Dick narrates in first person the first part of the story, and I've heard allusions to this being a bizarro, alternate reality, pseudo-autobiography for Dick. Weigh in down in the comments if you're more familiar with those sentiments. In Albemuth, Dick takes religion, history of religions, and seems to sift it into something that he can apply or combine with aliens and maybe alien invasions, and mix this with an examination of totalitarian governments, fascists, oppressors. We're talking Cold War stuff, the police state, and conspiracy theories. And of course, Dick being Dick, there are reflections on religion, drugs, and other psychotropic substances. This is an under-the-radar Dick read that I highly recommend. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Everts, and this is Fit to be Read.